Come together, learn to love one another, love one another. I say yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to help me ferry Dr. Abdulai Conteh to the mic with a very thunderous applause.
I feel an overwhelming sense of envy. And the reason for that is I was not fortunate enough to attend the Kolenten ceremony. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Sierra Leone to the United States, he and I have the same alma mater, and the colors of our own flag are the opposite of Kolenten. Ours is maroon and white. Yours is blue and white. I say I feel envious because even my own old school, the Albert Academy, does not boast of such a cohesive, public-spirited, as the chairman had said, an alumnus association as yours have been.
What is Kolenten? This question may sound rhetorical or absurd, but you'll be surprised to learn that many people do not know where Kolenten is in Sierra Leone. Sometimes when I talk to people, they will ask me, where is Kolenten river? So I have to tell them, it's in Gambia, not a province of Sierra Leone. It is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, secondary school in Sierra Leone.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Officer, you are an example worthy to follow. I congratulate you. And it is therefore my delight when this issue tonight was first bruited. I said, certainly if I can, if my schedule will allow me, I will make it to Maryland. Here I am, against all the odds. In my time, undoubtedly, mistakes and missteps were made in the governance of the country. Let there be no mistakes about this. Mistakes were made, missteps were taken. But one salutary lesson mistakes can teach is not to repeat them again. And it is for the political class to learn the lessons and not to repeat the mistakes of the past and then move forward. But it seems that one abiding affliction of the political class is collective amnesia, with resultant inability to learn from past mistakes and missteps. It is evident before all of us, even today. Otherwise, who would have thought that the spate of allegations and stories of corruption rife in the country would make their appearance so soon after the cataclysms of the recent bloody and devastating past of our country? Or of stories of malfeasance and misfeasance involving abuse of office in high places, said to be rampant in the country, or even of whispers that are audible in some quarters to have the current president of the country, against all the odds and the national constitution, go on for yet a third term when his constitutionally mandated term must come after the end of his second term in 2017. Who can forget the cacophony of sycophancy that nearly derailed late President Stevens's attempt to step down voluntarily from office, I was there. He had offered to resign, to step aside. But there were cohorts of delegations from some parts of the country urging the old man to stay on. It is eerily reminiscent. And those delegations were said to be loyal delegations from some parts of the country, coming down. Panogo, we want you. Panogo, we want you. It is sad. I call it the cacophony of sycophants. And we still have it. It has become almost a national refrain. Even today, there is some eerily reminiscence of what happened with Stevens. When I hear of recent reports of plans to have President Nkrumah detained in State House until he have jaws going for resigning or retiring when his term comes to an end. He must retire. The Constitution says so. The law says so. Don't force the poor man. He would not ask for it, but they are the sycophants, the naysayers, the time servers who will be pushing him to do that. I hope he has the good sense to abjure any such attraction that prospect may hold. Sometimes the leadership of the political class is seduced by the blandishments of its followers into committing serious mistakes in the governance of the country. A singular example that comes to mind was the succession of the late President Stevens. Instead of following the provisions of the national constitution and the party, the APC party constitution, the succession to him was stage managed and manipulated to have the head of the military, no less, ascend to the leadership of the party and the presidency. All of this was done to the accompaniment of choruses of sycophancy, which have been made memorable in the famous ditty of the late Dr. Olo, Uda give more power than God. That is so sycophantic. But we followed. It is so sycophantic. May again those dark days of sycophancy never come. Thank God we have multi-party system. I hope that will never come again.
Let me leave that for now, but the area I want Dr. Conteh to address has to do with the power of the purse. Which of these three branches has the power of the purse, and how those powers of the purse can be, what measures, what provisions within the constitutions there are in that can be used to exercise those powers. We have a policy think tank called the Sierra Leone Policy Think Tank, Sierra Leone Policy Watch, with the sole objective of putting together ideas that has no, that are not influenced by any tribal, regional, or political influence, because as we know, most of the policies since independence have been influenced either by people within the political circle that has to protect not only their political interest, not only self-interest, not only regional interest, but also tribal interest. The second source of policies are the World Bank and the IMF. Of course, we always know they have their ulterior motives. So we decided to form a policy think tank, encouraging Sierra Leoneans with diverse views to put their ideas together and submit to any government of Sierra Leone, just to give them an alternative source of ideas as to how to run the system of governance, and they've ignored us. And I'm going on record. Since there are certain things that I cannot say as the executive director of that policy think tank because it's not political, I intend to resign at the end of this year, perhaps not even as much as far as December, and I will take upon myself not only to challenge the status quo out here, but perhaps by the end of 2014 I will be out in Sierra Leone, because I have observed that the APC government is no different, the current APC government is no different from the APC government of Seka Stephen. The only difference is the strategy by which they do what Secretary Stephen used to do is slightly different, but the end result is the same. Secretary Stephen used to use the apparatus of government, the SSDs and the police to attack political opponents. And Eskroma uses civilians, political thugs, so that it becomes a civilian matter. You will go down to Sierra Leone, if they see that you're a threat, you will see somebody who will stab you, they will burn your house down, or they will do something to you. Nobody will say it's police issue, nobody will say it's partisan issue, they will say they are thieves. But these are thieves that are thugs sent by the current system of governance, and people like us as of next year, I'm going to raise those issues up, and I'm going to down to Sierra Leone to challenge them. Because only if we fear to die, if Nelson Mandela was afraid to die, he would not have been where he is today.
Cornerstone of the Constitution is equality. Equality across the board. Gender equality, political equality, religious equality. That is what it is all about.
Dr. Marie Umar Kamal.
I'm so impressed. One thing with Sierra Leoneans, you would not lack qualifications. You are also very educated. And when it comes to talking, I don't think anybody can outperform Sierra Leoneans. But when it comes to action, there's a whole different issue. I always tease my husband and his friends when they're on the phone. I say, there you go again, talking over and over what Ernest has done or hasn't done, what needs to be done. I said, why are you here? If you want something to be done the right way, you do it. That's my philosophy in life. You get up and do it because you know best how you want it to be done. We are here, and I hear this lady, we are here in our comfort, and we talk about the Constitution, which frankly, before tonight, I had no idea. That's one problem itself. We don't know about the Constitution, okay? So maybe it's a way to educate it. But there are two things that I haven't heard spoken today. So I'm gonna just put this out there. We talk about the Constitution, about enforcing it, why it's not being worked. Nobody has talked about poverty. Nobody mentioned about poverty. Somebody mentioned about accountability. So these are the two things I just want to make a comment about. If you wake up in the morning, you don't have anything to eat, you don't even know where you're going to get money to pay tuition for your fees, who cares about the Constitution? Who cares about what's right or what's wrong? What you want is something to survive, that basic survival needs. And we can say, sit here and make everything we want to say. It's good. We want all this Constitution to work. But until we address poverty and also the issue of accountability, we blame the politicians. I'm not a political person. And sure, they deserve a lot of blame because they're not doing the right things. They're just squandering money and all that. We can sit here and talk about it all night. But even us as individuals, we have to hold ourselves accountable. I am in the health sector, and I know this firsthand. I've been back home several times doing free.
So yes, the Constitution is very, very important. And I think we need to teach it to our people. And for those who have the resources, because I hear many times people going home, going home, and they're going to do A, B, C, D. If you have...
What are we doing for our nation? Sierra Leone used to be the Athens of West Africa. You know, sometimes, as they say, Saloma sabi talk. And all we good at is talking, but no action. I was in Freetown 10 years ago. We formed the 50-50, fighting for women's rights. And when we are behind Tijan Kaba, shouting for more women in power, we did so many things. But the policy in Sierra Leone is to shut your mouth is just to give you a position. So, members of parliament, if you want to talk in parliament, the next time you are made a minister, where in your pocket will be full, your mouth is shut. As I said about the 50-50, I had the president, Mrs. Abato Thomas used to be the president of the 50-50. And we were shouting helter shelter where Dr. Nimata Kaikumba, we used to go all over Sierra Leone and we held them spellbound. But by the time Tijan Kaba came to power, she was appointed as Minister of Health. And that's it. And a lot of people, if I want to call, are just being shot by most of those positions. So as Sierra Leone